Hey guys, I just got back from seeing Iron Lung, and boy oh boy, what a movie to be honest. I had so much fun. After waiting so long as well, this was a really fun movie. Um, I want to talk about it pretty much and just give you my review. I will dive into spoilers, so before that, this movie's probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's really worth seeing if you're a fan of the games or just a Markiplier fan in general. But if you don't know what the game is, I feel like it's definitely going to suffer from that. So go into this knowing what the game is, knowing some context, and you'll enjoy it as much as I did. If you don't, it's probably going to be quite confusing and you're just going to be a bit lost throughout the thing. But yeah, onto the video. So Markiplier plays a guy called Simon, a former operative of an organization called Eden, and he's been imprisoned by this other organization called the Consolidation of Iron for his involvement in the destruction of a space station called Filament Station. The movie, just like the game, also tells us that something called the Quiet Rapture happened, which has wiped out pretty much a ton of life, and the only life around is on space stations, and that's it. Humanity is dying out, and everything is kind of hopeless. You know, this blood moon that they found is really our only last hope, and it sets the tone of this really hopeless world and how everyone is just desperate for something, just an answer to what has happened. Just like the game, Markiplier's character Simon, or Markiplier, I'll call him either, to be honest, descends into the blood ocean to try and find some answers, and he's given a camera to explore and take pictures and just find out what he can. And as his journey through the ocean goes on, he slowly becomes a bit more insane. He slowly, he sees things behind him. He hears voices in his head. And the whole movie is pretty much building up to, the monster. If you played the games, that's the same thing the game does. This movie tends to follow the games exactly to that formula of building up and slowly, making you sit on the edge of your seat, waiting for this reveal, waiting for the monster that you can just about see sometimes and just about hear. But the movie also, I think, uses this media to its advantage. And Markiplier's character, with his trauma with the space station gets used here. So he's forced to kind of, explore himself, explore his past, and explore whether he's responsible for what he did at Filament Station, which I think is a really good idea. And honestly, it's executed pretty well. I can't really find any flaws with how they've followed the games or how Markiplier's character is written. It's overall quite strong. To be honest, the performance is also really well done. Markiplier never drops the ball. It's him by himself for 2 hours, basically. There are a few times when he interacts with other people, whether it's through a radio or the one time he comes up to the surface, but that's it. It's just Markiplier by himself, talking and acting, and he does a really good job, surprisingly. I mean, this is his first movie. I never felt like he was given a mediocre performance. I always felt like he was giving it all and really trying to sell the fact that he was scared and that he was just as desperate as everyone else was. So yeah, Markiplier does a great job performance-wise. The build-up as well, as I said before, is really well done. But I feel like they reveal some stuff just a bit too early. For example, as the movie goes on, the monster or the fish, call it whatever you want, you slowly see it in the camera, and it even attacks his ship quite early on, I think. I think that's about halfway through, or maybe even a quarter through. It attacks his ship, and then he starts to hear this voice talking to him. He breaks the radio. He goes a bit more insane when he realizes that, now he's completely cut off by this creature. And we're getting to this reveal of the monster and also somewhat answers to the blood moon. This voice, it's revealed to be another survivor. Maybe that's what she calls herself, and she talks to Markiplier through the radio. And I do like this. I do like how this is probably this. I mean, this is definitely in his head, And this is definitely just his brain trying to give him some ounce of hope. Again, it's a really big theme in this movie, how desperate humanity is and how they just want anything, any answer, and they'll go to it. And Markiplier's character does the same. He follows this voice, even though, the radio doesn't work. He follows this voice to something called the light, she calls it. And when he gets to it, and when he gets to the light after he's given the coordinates by her, the fish slices through the ship and they lock eyes. Markiplier and the fish, they lock eyes and they both say, "I see you," to one another. And I was like, that is so, so cool. And then once the fish breaks the ship, Markiplier wakes up in this blood. He's covered in blood and he rises and the fish is there looking down on him. And I don't really remember what it says, but I think they have some small exchange of dialogue there. And then the fish dives back down under the water. And Markiplier is left alone. I really stopped calling him Markiplier. And Simon is left alone. And this light, the god light she was talking about, right in front of him. He's by himself. And then he wakes up. And throws up a bunch of blood because he's hallucinating. And this is where the movie kind of lost me. I won't lie. Not because it's bad writing, just because I was really confused here. I was like, why did we have this massive build up towards, the monster and this hinting at the light? I get it. It's obviously going to be a fake answer, or maybe it is true. It wants to be vague, but the whole movie builds up to this. If you watch it, it will, or if you've watched it, it builds up to this point, and I just don't understand why after this we're going through a whole different kind of plot afterwards. He contacts Ava somehow. The radio is fixed, which again also threw me off because I thought he broke that, but I guess that was all in his mind. I don't know. I feel like the movie works better if that's the ending, because then after that we get another 20 minutes of the film and it focuses on something entirely different. It focuses on the other submarines that Markiplier's found. I mean, that's Simon's found, sorry. We focus on them instead and how he's got to retrieve this black box and how that is actually, humanity's new answer and how that's going to help them out. It just felt a bit rushed, to be honest, that last part. And yeah, I think that's the real issue here with the movie and what kind of weakens it for me here. The build-up is all focused on, at least to me, it felt like it was focused on the creature and the answer to the quiet rapture, maybe. And they also introduced, this light. I feel like the light was going to go somewhere. It hints at, something bigger being out there. And that just felt like a great conclusion to have. That last quarter just doesn't feel as strong in general to me. I think it's just because we get our answers too early, or we just see the things, the build-up's been going towards too early, because that last 20 minutes is just doing other stuff that isn't really related to what we've already seen. It's Markiplier going after... sorry. It's Simon going after... It's Simon going after these submarines and their black boxes and what's inside them and how that is actually, humanity's savior, and that can also help them out. The set design and the world for the movie was captured so well. It is pretty much an exact copy of the game. The map is there, the coordinates, the submarine. That set is so cool to see in theaters with such a big screen, and seeing him navigate it and it all being practical was so cool. I loved it all, and the sound effects, they got them down to a T. My favorite part about the submarine was the camera and how much they used that. It's not just to build up horror, but it's also to build suspense. It's also to light up the submarine. At one point, he loses power after he's attacked by the monster. So Markiplier's, Simon is forced to, keep pressing the button. He keeps tapping it, to light up the submarine and to see what's around him and to patch himself up. And I love that because it really shows that everything is being used and that nothing really fell wasted to me. The submarine in general is used really well, and just great use of the set. And I really like that. I really like that nothing felt wasted here. I think that's kind of my point. That Markiplier, again, is just really good at making sure everything is used in this movie, even if sometimes it doesn't work, like that last quarter. But for the tone of the movie, it's way more psychological than jump scare horror. And again, this is kind of a bit of an issue for me because the psychological stuff only works for 3 quarters of the movie. And then when you get to that last quarter, the build up is just kind of gone because you've got answers, you've seen the monster, you've seen the big light, and I just kind of lose any tension was just lost for me, which I don't mind it. It works for a majority of the movie, which is what you want, I guess. But I feel like, again, that last quarter just lets it down in terms of horror. But overall, Markiplier's done this movie really well. And I think something that we're missing is that Markiplier made this by himself. He assembled everyone that he could to help him out. And he's funded this himself. He's directed it himself. He's starred in it himself. And he's done everything so well. He's given it his all. And I couldn't be happier with what he's done, to be honest. For this is a passion project. Overall, this movie is really good. Markiplier has done such a good job here. And I'm so glad that this passion project of his actually made it here. I mean, I'm in the UK and I was lucky enough for this movie to make it to me. I'm so happy that this solo project of his has gone so well, and you can just tell that he's happy with it, that he's so proud of what he's done, and that he has put all his effort into everything here. And I think that's kind of a thing people don't talk about enough with this movie, that this is just Markiplier, this is just him doing his all and just showing his love for something he found unique and he found interesting. And that really makes the movie even more special to me. So obviously, as I said before, it's about a 7.5 out of 10. But with, the context of all the effort he put into it and with how much it means to him, I mean, seeing him cry over the bookings, he is such just a passionate guy. And I really feel like he deserves this success. This movie has flaws. What movie doesn't? Especially for a first-time movie, especially with something so hard to adapt like Iron Lung. He's made that 2 hours long, and he's done it well. And my only complaint is that the last quarter feels a bit weaker than the other 3 quarters, which is all amazing and tense and just so, so good. So thank you so much, Markiplier. Thank you for making such a good movie. And yeah, see it. Please see it. Please support him. This is so much better than that FNAF movie. I hate that FNAF movie so much. Thank you all so much for watching. First video. This should be my first video, probably. I'll have a DBD video soon, which is probably not going to be great because I'm ill right now. But thank you all so very much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you thought of Iron Lung. Please like and subscribe. I really need them. I really need them. Thank you all, though. Seriously, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.